Hey everybody, today is January 26th, and today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin. We're going to talk about whether the bulls have what it takes to put in a bottom and reverse this downtrend, or whether or not the bears are going to come in, take control again, and push this price down in the downtrend that's been in for the last 2 to 3 months, right? So before we begin, please read this disclaimer. You can pause this video as you read it. Okay, so today we had a major event, which I talked about in our last video, right? Which is the Federal Reserve meeting. They basically said that they will not be doing anything for now, but they do plan on ending the they do plan on ending their asset buying program, right? To finish tapering by March, and also they're going to consider hiking interest rates, or that's when they plan to hike interest rate, which is in March as well. So for now, they're not doing anything. They're going to continue with their asset buying program until March, and they're going to keep the interest rates low until March. So this was basically what a lot of people expected. The market was very volatile over the last, of course, over the last couple sessions. Right, we had this 10% correction, right? Let's see if this is S&P 500, more than 10%, 12% correction. Really, people were scared that this is going to be really hawkish news, really bad news, right? But for now, this news is not neither bullish or bearish. The Jerome Powell didn't really say anything that was too dovish, too optimistic, right? He basically said that they will likely begin hiking interest rates in March and begin tapering as they have been planning over the last year, right? They said multiple times, but at the same time, they didn't say anything really bad. They didn't begin tapering like right now, or they haven't said they're going to raise interest rates right now or be really aggressive with that. They basically said that they're going to do what they can to accommodate the economy and try to control inflation, right? Keep it down to their target price of 2% inflation, right? And they're going to do what they can to help middle class, working class Americans, right? That's their main objective, right? It's not to support the stock market, although there is an indirect byproduct of what they do to help prop the market. But their main goal is to help the American economy, right? And so basically, just in my opinion, it was pretty neutral, and there is a lot of volatility because he did give a press meeting. So when the minutes were released, we saw a huge spike up, right? And but as he began to answer people's questions, people were trying to read between the lines, and there was just a lot of choppy price action. You know, my guess is a lot of algos reading, trying to determine whether what he was saying is bullish or bearish. But I don't know. In my opinion, it's going to take a couple of days for the stock market and really markets in general to really digest what the Federal Reserve just said and their plan. And so that could take until the end of this month. But until then, we could expect more volatility. You know, the VIX above 30. You know, things get pretty choppy. But in my opinion, the stock market is looking fairly oversold, right? Below 30 RSI, and the VIX is looking, you know, fairly overbought right now, right? Or look at like UVXI, which is where you can buy and bet on the VIX going up, right? You can't buy the VIX. But yeah, in my opinion, I do think that we're overdue for a bounce. And why? So why is it in the stock market? So why is this important? Because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market follows the stock market, especially the Nasdaq. We said this multiple times, right? And especially the dollar index. You know, Bitcoin is inversely correlated with the dollar, and the dollar is spiking right now. But because the stock market is so oversold, I do expect that we might see at least a short-term bounce, right? At least a short-term bounce in the stock market, which could be good for Bitcoin, which could also lead to a short-term bounce, right? But at the same time, I just showed you that the dollar index is rising right now, and that's going to be bad for Bitcoin because they're inversely correlated. So this could be a short-lived bounce. So this is what I'm looking for right now. In my last video, I talked about how 40,000 is an important level, right? Right now, Bitcoin is in a downtrend, and it keeps making lower highs, meaning that even though you might see a bounce, it ends up being a dead cat bounce that rolls over, right? So the question is this going to be another dead cat bounce that puts in a lower higher along the way to further downside, right? And so, like I said in my last video, and I'm still holding true to this level, is that 40,000. We want to see at least 40,000 hold, right? We want to see the price action go up. You know, perhaps cultivate some support over here and then push up higher, right? If we're not able to hold at least 40,000, if we end up going up here and, you know, being rejected by 40,000 and rolling over, I do think that we will continue down lower and continue to make lower highs, right? And continue down this downtrend that we've been in for over 2 months now. So that's going to be a key thing, right? We want to see Bitcoin bulls come in and defend this level, right? Because if we keep going down, we're going to just go down to where we were back last summer. And like I said, the more we test support or even resistance, the more we are likely to break it. So we don't want to see this come down here and show weakness, because then we might see this Bitcoin plunge to 20,000, right? If we are not able to hold 30,000, right? Because we already tested this 3 times in the last 12 months. or sorry, 2 times in the last 12 months. So we don't want to see it come down and test it. We want to put in a low here if you're a bull and break above 40,000 and hold above this level, and then we can talk about trying to reclaim higher levels of resistance and flipping it to support, right? But for now, we need to look at 40,000. That's going to be the key. If we're not able to hold 40,000, like I said, I do think we're going to come down lower and push to lower prices, right? And then we're going to have to discuss that going forward. But like I said, a lot of things I said the stock market is oversold into for a bounce, right? And I think that, like, you look at cryptocurrencies, it's still pretty oversold. You know, we're below 30 RSI. Trying to reclaim that right now, especially with the stock market trying to react to the Federal Reserve meeting that just happened. I do think we are overdue for at least a short bounce, right? Which we're attempting right now with these consecutive green days. But I think 40,000 is a key level to watch. Let's look at some of the on-chain data. Hash rate is still pretty elevated, near all-time highs, which is really good. You know, we want to see people still mining cryptocurrencies and supporting the network, because the more people who are, the more miners who are engaging with the network and helping process transactions, the more secure the network, right? So we want to see the hash rate continue to go up higher, and that's going to give Bitcoin bulls a lot more of a base level of support to push off and take more aggressive long positions, right? So just to summarize, I'm still holding on to what I said in my last video, which is 40,000, important level, right? We want to see, the bulls want to see us break above 40,000 and hold it, build this form of a base of support and then push up higher. Then we can talk about reclaiming higher resistance level and trying to flip it to support. If we're not able to hold 40,000, we'll likely roll over and retest 30,000. And we're not able to hold 30,000, we're likely to see the price plunge to 20,000, right? And that's going to be really bad, right? But for now, Bitcoin continues to range, move sideways in this $30,000 to $60,000 range. And we'll see if the bulls have what it takes to put in a low here, a bottom here, and push up higher to 60,000, the high part, the higher point of this resistance, this range, right? And yeah, we're gonna have to see how the market reacts to the Federal Reserve. Right now the stock market is trying to, the bulls are trying to push the price up higher, and if that's possible, I do think that Bitcoin can find strength to move up higher. But at the same time, the dollar moving up, spiking today is also worrying to me, because that puts a lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin. So we're gonna have to see which side wins in the short to medium term, right? Which side is going to prevail? Are the bulls going to prevail or the bears going to prevail? And that's something we're going to have to answer later on as this price action develops going forward. And we'll definitely update you possibly next week and see how the price action develops going into the next week and into February. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, useful, or informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. I appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.